I struggle with the perspective of not knowing. It's fine for a while, but then the urge to analyze, understand, and do comes back. I relate shifts in awareness to the default mode network, like when I'm washing dishes and thoughts of being elsewhere arise. I notice this fluctuation between presence and distraction. Does this also happen in interactions with people?
It's important to distinguish. One thing is the practice of presence and how you're describing it, and it's also talked about as mindfulness. So doing the dishes and your mind is full with only the dishes, let's say. It's just a weird expression, mindfulness. But the the problem there is that we can become very conditioned on the notion that if there are thoughts, then it's wrong. We're not doing it right. If when you're describing the default mode network coming on, when that's happening, something's wrong. We're not doing it right. And then there's this polarity between, like, I'm getting it, it's working, I'm doing it right, versus not. Um, and the antidote to that is to see all that is needed is that you notice what's happening. So, same with wanting to know. You know, as a child, you probably remember, and you've probably seen this with your child. There is a natural love for knowing, and some of us have more of a propension to, or I don't know if that propensity to kind of really understand things in an intellectual way, and that's a beautiful thing. That's how things are invented. Um, but there's a difference between the passion and the love and the playfulness of learning and knowing versus the torture of I need to know, and if I don't know, uh, things aren't going to go well, and the anxiety feeding that. So there's um, two kinds of drives there. One is like a free, open love for knowing, and it's playful, and another is this kind of contraction around the need for control, where knowing is in service of controlling. And so, same with the difference. That's just describing kind of the felt sense, the difference of where it's coming from. And so, I wouldn't want you to throw out the baby with the bathwater, and that you will naturally have this is your kind of makeup. There will be a natural love and curiosity for knowing, but knowing that from the knowing that you can't ultimately know, in the sense that you knowing that all the knowing is relative, that it's not going to give you ultimate well-being, satisfaction, and freedom. It's just not coming from that place. It's coming from the love of knowing, just for the fun and the beauty of it, and all of the kind of side effects of, like, you could have very interesting conversations with people who know about the things that you like knowing, and that could be quite lovely, which is different than a knowing that's coming from a contraction, that's coming from a fear and the needing to know, and if only if I know this, then I will be okay. If I understand how my brain works, and if I understand my psychology, then I will find peace, freedom, satisfaction. That's the kind that is just the antidote to that is to see not only that you can't know, but also that knowing isn't going to give you that satisfaction. And just a little bit back to the the washing the dishes and the mind coming in or not, as in the thoughts around things. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like looking at clouds and seeing a puppy. You don't try to unsee the puppy. You just see that you're imagining a puppy on a cloud. That's the difference. The difference is knowing it's actually a cloud where the mind sees a pattern of a bunny rabbit or something. So you're washing the dishes, the mind comes on in the way you're describing it, and all you see is just the mind is doing colors and shapes. Versus I'm no longer seeing a cloud and I'm seeing reality, which is a puppy in the sky. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference. That's all that is needed. It's just knowing you're seeing the mind is doing what the mind does, and knowing that all it is mind, and that you cannot know any of it to be true or real. You know it's not. You know it's just thought. And then it's just like looking at the sky with the added playfulness of sometimes it appears to be shapes that you know. So then you're not trying to fight the mind.
And what if you see a scary monster instead of a puppy?
Then you have fun with like, oh, that's my mind's imagining a scary monster. It's like going to the movies. That's all it is. The problem is when you believe that the monster is absolutely true and real. That's the difference. It's the same. You see a scary monster in the sky and there's like adrenaline running through your body, and it's like, wow, my mind is seeing a scary monster and it's activating adrenaline rush. Cool. The more you see that, also the more you will naturally, the discernment will happen. It's not you doing it. The discernment will happen where it's like what I was describing about riding the bike. If you are running down a hill and there's like a cloud in the way, you just move through it. But if there's a rock, you're going to swerve around it. So the more you can see through the mind and see through all of the ways in which it makes things that aren't real, the more there will be a discernment of what's really important to pay attention to or not. The more you will recognize, and it will happen automatically, naturally, that which is just an imagined monster won't invoke unnecessary action and fear. Versus when you see something that is a relatively important problem to address, and there will be a natural addressing of it. And all the monsters are just interpretations, but what I'm addressing is that there is the more you see through that, the more you'll be able to recognize, well, this is something that needs to be addressed, but it'll happen spontaneously. That which is not real will just appear, you will see through it. And then there's some things that will be more of like invoking a natural wise response, a natural wise action. But that natural wise action comes after you see through the illusions, and then it's also something you don't do. It's the natural response of a body mind that is attuned.
And what if you don't trust your natural responses?
Well, but that's what I'm describing. Um, the more you see through the illusion, you will see through the not trusting a true response. A true natural response is because of illusion. It's because you're believing things that aren't real. So the more you see that, the more the natural response, which is wise, will happen, and the trust will be there. The distrust of a true wise natural response is because of a fear, is because of a monster that isn't real. But again, you can't know what is a natural response that is wise. It can't come from a knowing, not in the intellectual sense, not from a mind image. It'll come spontaneously. And then life, the whole body mind attunes and becomes deeper and wiser, and through the experience and the exploration. It's like riding a bicycle. You fall on your face, you get up on it, you fall on your face until you get better and better. But the getting better and better, your body mind's doing 99% of the learning. Like you're not calculating every muscle that moves and every twitch at every nerve.
Yea, the discernment.
And the discernment happens more and more as you see through the illusions that you're choosing to buy into. It's basically the attunement with what you truly want, where love is. And that is a leap of faith. It's a trust in you and in the universe. And it must happen spontaneously with a sense of not knowing. Otherwise, you can be telling yourself, oh, this is discernment, and this is the right thing, and this is the wrong thing. And it's more me knowing. Roberto, my teacher, would say, if you think you know what discernment is, you don't. If you think you know what love is, that's not it. If you think you know what freedom is, that's not it. Any book you can write about it, it's not it.